It's going to be another beautiful day here on the Avenue.
You might work for the Area 51.
That's true.
Oh, quiet for a second.
There we go. Y'all, thanks. Here we are, another Wednesday. No edits, no filter. What do you think, Brad?
It's awesome.
Yeah. We got some friends coming in today with us, don't we?
We sure do.
Do you know who that gentleman is over there?
Yes, that's Commissioner Brad Turner.
Commissioner Brad Turner.
Yeah.
He showed up here at our place today at No Edits, No Filter. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yes, very cool.
He's the new commissioner of DIDD. Do you know what that stands for?
Department of Intellectual Developmental Disabilities.
That's exactly right. And you've done some work there, haven't you?
I thought it was the staging of Sean Combs.
You thought that was the staging of Sean Combs, huh? Okay. There you go. Tell us about your work there, Brad.
Of course. Well, I was actually the very first intern they ever had there.
That's very cool.
That was very exciting.
I was making a joke about Puff Daddy or
That's
something.
right, Puffy.
You were making a joke about Puff Daddy?
Yeah.
What made you think about Puff Daddy, Cody? P. Diddy. Or what's his name now? I don't know. I can't keep up.
Just Diddy now.
Just Diddy? He's just Diddy
I
now.
call him peanut butter and jelly.
Cody,
Good one.
What made you think of P. Diddy?
I don't know, the did part, I don't know.
No, the
did.
DIDD part.
Oh, I
Pretty
see.
good.
Did he? There you go. Duh. I missed that altogether. Well, we're really excited because we've got a new commissioner in the state of Tennessee. We have a new governor, have a whole new group of guys leading our state and women that are leading our state. And we're honored today to have the commissioner of the Department of Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities to be with us here at on the Avenue and with us at No Edits, No Filter. So everybody go around and say your first name so you can introduce yourself to the commissioner. Brad, since I've already introduced you, why don't you start?
Yeah, so I'm Brad Bramlett, and I'm from Thompson Station, Tennessee.
There you go.
I'm Matthew Sternberg. I'm from Hendersonville, Tennessee.
Hendersonville.
I'm Lauren. I'm from Nashville.
Lauren.
I'm Dustin. I'm currently living in Nashville.
Hi, Dustin.
I live in Nashville.
What's your name?
John.
John.
John, that's
Wolf.
right.
John Drawley.
John Drawden.
Hi,
That's
John.
right.
John Aldridge. I lived in Mississippi for most of my life, and then I moved here a couple years ago.
Hi, John. Nice to meet you.
I'm Carson. I'm from the Bellevue area.
Nice to meet you, Carson.
Nice to meet you.
Cody.
Where are you from, Cody?
Murfreesboro.
There you
There you
go.
go.
Las Casas, right?
Las Casas.
Oh,
Truly.
I know where that's
Yep.
at.
I'm Brendan. I'm also from Hendersonville.
There you go.
And I'm Tom, and I'm from Nashville, born and
Nice to meet
raised.
Everybody. Excellent.
So guys, we come here, Commission, we come here once a week. We do a thing called No Edits, No Filter, and
Right.
we talk about a subject. We've talked about the Super Bowl and music and art and all kinds of things. And today, with you being here, we're just honored that you're here, and we wanted to talk about employment in the state of Tennessee for
Sure.
folks with disabilities.
Excellent.
Something I know you are on a mission for right
Yes.
now, and we have been for 5 years, and we want to share that mission with you. And so we're really honored you're here with the guys, and I want to talk about it and hear from everybody about what it's like to be employed, or is it hard? Is it easy? What have you found? Tell us about jobs you've had. I know our journey started working with all of you about 5 years ago. Some of you have been here 2 and 3 years and 4 and 5 years. We've had 21 families we've been blessed to serve here on the Avenue over that last 5 years. And you guys are currently a lot of the families and people that we're serving. And I want to hear from you today about what it's like to be employed or unemployed or looking for work in the state of Tennessee. I think that's an important topic that not only can we help you guys with, but that we can shed some light on for others that are out there looking.
Mm-hmm.
The unemployment rate among people with disabilities is like 85% or something.
It's high.
It's high.
It is sad how high it is.
Talk about it, Matt.
Well, bless your heart. Nobody with a disability should be not without a job. I just think it's plain stupid and asinine to look at it.
Okay.
That's my honest, blunt opinion about
Sure.
it.
That's what we're here. No
Right.
edits, no filter. That's why we're doing
Amen.
But
Anybody else?
I'm the only one here that doesn't have a job right now, though.
Lauren has written for us in the past, and she's out looking for some work right now, and continues to do some writing with us. But
Well, yes, you work here.
she's doing some work here and can do some other work maybe with you guys
Mm-hmm.
on the other side of the hallway. Yeah, so maybe that's something we can do
But I
there.
think I'm the only one here that doesn't have a job right now, though, aren't I?
Yeah, and so you're out looking. Is it easy to find a job right now, Lauren?
No, people hear the word autism and they run. So
Hmm.
a lot of people have said, well, we'd hire you. You have all what we need, but because you're autistic, we can't. We don't.
That's actually the messaging that
Okay.
they give back to you.
Because you have to, like, when I reach out and write people
Yeah.
to say, like, I'm gonna be a writer, but and I've worked here for a long time, but now that this job isn't available, and they see the word autism, so they just a lot of people have turned me down because of it. Dave Ramsey, he turned me down recently because of it. He said because I was autistic.
Yeah, so it's tough to find work out there. Is that correct?
Different companies have said,
Yeah.
if you weren't autistic, we'd take you. So.
Which I think that
Well, it
policy
is.
is stupid.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Well, they hear that word and they think it's bad.
What do you think they're scared of, guys? What's the,
Yeah,
what's the
that-
fear?
I think the thing. Hold on.
It's all right.
Hold on, my mind went blank for a moment.
Hey, that's okay, Cody. What do you think is the reason that people are hesitant, if not
Probably-
fearful?
Yeah, I think they just hear that word and still get sort of Rain Man-y images.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, you know, it's really funny. I think a lot of people do get that Rain Man image,
Yeah, the worst movies.
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What's not true about that? What is? None of you guys are quite Rain Man-y, so what's not true about that? Why is that a bad
We
perception?
don't have Down syndrome. People think autism is Down syndrome.
They do.
It's not.
So maybe not take
It's
the
just
time to dig
It's
below the
just in
surface.
the water.
What was that?
It was just in the water. Yeah, when you're sick when you're a baby and your frontal lobe gets damaged.
Yeah.
And all of that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
John, talk about, you've had several jobs here in Tennessee. Talk about some of the jobs you've
Thank-
had.
Well, I was at New Horizons for a while.
New
and
Horizons.
Good was all. Then I got a job at Tuscany, but it didn't work. I had I was at Goodwood and they placed me on a job that didn't work. I went back to Goodwood.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, you had some feelings, man.
Then 2016, I had a fight with this guy because he said my face looked bad. I hit him and they put me out the door. I was looking, and
Your flies
then,
are
then
gone.
then I started looking for another job. I was getting progress, but they're not as nice as they are here.
Interesting. Okay. And then you've been working out a year for us. Is that right,
Yeah.
John? You've been here
I
for a year.
think I've been here since last.
And as you want a pin for that, and I think
that's good.
The commissioner has a pin over there. We need to get you a pin. That says
Yeah, where's
Whataburger
your- I
on
need
it
to
or
see your
something.
pin.
Yeah,
We'll work on
what
that.
about everybody?
Yeah, if when you've been here a year, I think that's a good policy.
Good idea.
Yeah,
At
absolutely.
the end of next month, I would be here for a year.
That's
for
crazy,
you.
isn't it? I can't believe you've been here a year.
Yeah.
I don't like
What
this topic.
what is different about this place? Why do you like working here, John, over Goodwill? What you don't know?
Just when I first came here, I'd see you. When I came here for an interview, I'd see there was some girls sitting over there.
Yeah, yeah,
And I met you and Adam. I think Adam was sitting
yeah,
down
yeah.
there.
So have you enjoyed work and you enjoy working here? Everybody, do y'all all want to work? I mean, during the day. Let's talk about that.
I don't like this topic.
Well, this is the topic today, so we're gonna discuss it a little bit, if that's okay. Anybody want to chime in? Is there?
I have so much stuff to say about this, but I'm trying to let everyone else talk.
Okay.
I don't really have anything to say.
Okay. Well, then, if you have a lot to say, Matt, speak up.
Well, for years, I look at this as just the way people think. They just need to get their head out of the gutter and look. We're not missing limbs or any arms. We can just do much of stuff as you, without a disability. Probably sitting at a good salary job. I mean, it just infuriates me
Right.
that people can just stoop to the level to think, oh, just because some guy has autism or Down syndrome or whatever disability that may be, it doesn't give credence for them to just put us all under a blanket term and then, our services take longer and they just get what they need.
Right.
And, it's like with the career field. If I ever get the opportunity to do aerial photography full time, it's something I've just am dying to do. Just, I don't care, just a full-time career traveling, if I ever got to do that, and, if my parents were okay with that, long story short. But hypothetically, that's something, before I got this job, I've really wanted to do, and you know, I've talked to people, but never really got any offers or anything. So I will say being a producer is the next best thing to that. You know, it's, you know, sometimes you just have to, you know, have a backup plan. And this is it. And I really love what I'm doing here. I really love. But anyways, back to my whole conversation. It's people need to really just wake up and stop thinking black and white, because I'm going to say it real bluntly here. You know, it's not okay. You know, it's not okay to look at somebody just because they have a disability. You know, give them a shot. Give them a benefit of a doubt. And if you can't do that, I don't know how I can help you. But you're on the wrong side.
Commissioner, one of the things we try to do here and encourage other employers to do is change the workplace.
Yeah.
You know, I think we've been training people over the years to that are disabled to not be disabled. And I don't think that works. I think we've got to train the workplace to accept someone with a special ability or a disability and meet them where they are and try to bring them along.
Right.
That's what we all do for each other, no matter who it is. And so I think Matt's right. I think there's some sense at which we've said, hey, you have a disability, this will be good for you to do. And to be blunt, we were introduced to people with disabilities through packing boxes, and we realized that there were many other things that people could do by just asking them and let them do it. And so what we believe is kind of looking at that 180 approach of changing the workplace, and we've adapted around here to accept individuals where they are and bring them through. And we've found some amazing things in each of them, as we have in other people that we've worked with.
Right.
So I think opportunity is a word that you mentioned just now that I think is important.
Opportunity, the freedom of choice, especially somebody like me, which I have autism, but, you know, I'm really high end on the spectrum. And, I mean, living with a disability, an opportunity, I think people with disabilities should have the freedom of choice of where they want to work, what they want to do, what career field, you know, how, I'm a big believer, you know, if you teach them the basics, like for video producing, I love the job because I'm able to create ideas. I'm able to, it's just like a creative playground with video. You know, it's just,
I was wondering.
It just gives you the freedom to do what you want. Besides that point, my point, I think anybody with a disability should have the choice, freedom to choose what they want to do. No questions asked. And
well, you can't do that.
Well, yeah, you know, because of the bloody red tape. I'm going to say it right now.
Let Cody say something. I want to come back to what you're getting ready to say.
I'm sorry I said that, but it's the truth.
No, that's what that's no filters about. Cody, what were you going to say?
I'm not sure, but
people can change.
But does
Matt was talking about the creative process.
I wonder if does the Asperger's label have any less baggage?
Interesting. That's a great question. So, are there degrees of disability that are more acceptable in society? Is that kind of where you're headed? Does Asperger's have less stigma than autism, or something like that? I don't know. What do you guys think? What would you say, John?
I have Asperger's, and it doesn't. I think a lot more people aren't really familiar with it, so they hear it and they don't think much about it.
Yeah, it used to be rare.
Do you get lobbed in? Do you feel like it's all inclusive? What go further on that.
Well, a lot of people just they're not familiar with it as autism. That's like it's like a subcontextual label that they're not familiar with.
Right.
And
well, Lauren and I've been saying something, and everybody says it. You met one person with autism. You met one person with autism.
Exactly.
Everybody's different.
Exactly.
And Matt, you know what? You meet one human being. You met one human being, right?
Everyone's different. Everyone's made different.
Thank goodness.
Back to what you were saying, John. I want to clear up something. Autism, Down syndrome, and Asperger's. One of them is, from what I know, is a blanket term, or another way of saying somebody has autism. And one of them is totally different. Yeah. One of them is not related to autism. I think people get confused of classifying this as an umbrella. From what I know, my mom always tells me, she knows what I have. There's a name, there's a medical code for it. But we don't know what she has. And, you know, that's just a joke. But my point is, I think people just should look past if we're disability
But
or
if
not.
you didn't work here, where would you work? Because
Well,
this is
I
the
would
only
fight
job
hard
you've
to-
ever had.
Well, that's a good question, Lauren. I would find a place to work, and I don't care if I get rejected because I'm going to fight for what I want. And, I'm going to be I hate to say this, but I'm going to be a bat from hell.
Well,
I get this from my mother. I have some funny stories.
Blame Stacy for this,
that's
huh?
great. That's great because you have Tom, but like people
I
like
don't know.
me that don't have people as open-minded as Tom. How many doors have been shut on me for doing the exact same thing I did for Tom?
So Matt, to her point, to her
She
point,
makes a great point.
You're talking about freedom, right? The choice and freedom to do whatever it is that you want to do.
How
And
many
you're saying
people
that
shut
doesn't
the
exist
door?
out there. Is that what I'm hearing you say,
No,
Lauren?
I mean, there's so many people that I can do the exact same job that I did for Tom, and how many doors have been slammed in my face in the last?
I bet a lot.
Since March 1st, how many doors have been slammed in my face?
Right.
I mean, literally slammed.
So
in my
to
face.
that point, one of the things the commissioner and I and
Well,
his
you
team
can
are going
sue
to
them.
talk about in a little
Do
while is
something.
about why more and more businesses aren't making themselves available to this, right? And making
Yeah.
themselves
Oh, yeah.
ready to accept people with disabilities. I think we're finding that to be true. And a lot of people say, great, we've got one individual we're working with here, or
Right.
we gave it the office, so to speak.
Oh.
Right.
And I think we really need to change, as I found in the
We
last
gave it the
5 years,
office.
trying to change individuals is one of
Yes.
the things, but we have to meet them.
Yeah.
We have to be willing to change our way of doing things.
Right, and that's a big challenge we've laid out. So we met probably two or 3 weeks ago. I was able to speak to the Tennessee Chamber of Commerce state body, and a lot of that conversation that we had was to challenge them around what are we doing to help change the mindset of businesses around hiring individuals with disabilities. And one of the things that I always drive home that we try to get businesses to understand is it's not about checking a box, it's about changing a life. To give folks with disabilities the opportunity to produce the same way that they would give anyone else. So when I hear you say that doors keep getting slammed in your face and opportunities like that that are just not being presented themselves because individuals that own businesses or in some sort of commerce and industry automatically pigeonhole what folks with disabilities can do, and then they make the assumptions on their own instead of allowing the actual individual to show them what they can do and give them every opportunity that they need to be successful. That's what we're trying to change. And so you hit it right on the head of it. It's got to start somewhere. And each individual company needs to look in the mirror first to say, what are we doing to try to help folks in this community? And that's the challenge.
Agreed, and I would also turn back to the state and other companies trying to do business with companies.
Right.
I think they ought to support companies that Tzatziki's and Publix and companies that are willing to go out and hire. I think we need to tout that and
Right.
give them more work. I remember sitting at a Tennessee Works conference and some of the commissioners went, well, how can we help you?
Yeah.
Give us more work.
Yeah.
We're hiring individuals with disabilities.
Right.
We would like to be employed by our state. That's how we started, by
Right.
providing drug test
That's
kits
why-
to the
Right.
department.
That's what autistics can't. They can't get behind the steering wheel and drive because they can't make quick decisions and all that.
That's not true with everybody because Brad drives for us, right?
He does.
Right. So I think that's true. And again, maybe to the point though, John.
I've driven a Gator.
I drive.
so.
You met one, and Lauren drives. That's right. So we've met one person with autism. You've met one person with autism. Everybody has a different
I
level
never
of skill.
see even one of them drive.
I don't think anybody else in here drives. I think Lauren and Brad drive.
You drive.
I'm not a great driver. I'll go on and admit that. My wife wish I didn't drive sometimes. But I think you're right, John. There are things you can and things you can't do,
Yeah.
and we need to recognize that and play to your strength.
I
And
can't
it's
even
great.
take my bike here because I don't live here.
Could talk about that. That's really important. I want you to say that.
transportation.
You live in Las Casas or the other side of Murfreesboro, correct? You couldn't ride your bike here, could you?
You take the bus, don't you?
I usually go here through.
You have the
I usually
bus,
go
don't you?
here. My mom or dad takes me.
Drives all the way in from Murfreesboro so that
Yeah.
you can be employed here with us. Is that correct?
Yeah, they usually drive through. Usually drive through that area of Smyrna with like the Target and the movie theater.
Yep, absolutely. And we want to open one of these places down near you so you can go and work
Yeah.
and be a part of that down there so you don't have a transportation problem. I know, Matt, you get on
I get on an
rides or-
access ride,
last
but
name?
sometimes, well, actually, right now, I'm with this program called Choices, where they actually pick me up. We go out to eat, do something, then they take me directly home. But sometimes it's that, and on the days it's usually sometimes Lyft. But the bad part about MTA, I will say, I feel like the state needs to devote more money to public transportation.
Mm-hmm.
Here's why: because some of the infrastructure, buses, literally are falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes at the times they get to and from. And this is a serious issue. This is no laughing matter. This is down to the nitty gritty. So, take it if you will, I think. And then sometimes traffic getting home. That's a part of life, anywhere you're going.
How long does it take you to get to work from Hendersonville?
Oh, I got some yesterday. So when I got picked up yesterday, Monday, actually, the bus didn't get here. And then they had to put some guy in front of me. We had to go drive to, I'm trying to think, take this guy to Plant Fitness. Long story short, I didn't get to Zaxby's. That's where my mom picks me up. Because they can't go past Sumner County lines, which is kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So I didn't get there till 6.
Mm-hmm.
And you leave here at what time?
4:15.
Yeah.
Hour
and 45 minutes so you can come have a job in Nashville. Is that fair assessment?
Yeah, sometimes it's real quick.
Yeah.
Sometimes it depends because it's from what I hear, MTA doesn't have control of someone is just not doing a very good job of assigning people. It's almost like a 3-year-old. It's there. There's no structure to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just if you have no structure to a business, it's gonna fail.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask Matt. So we've talked. Yeah, Lauren, what were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
You're kind of really off topic, but it's great to sit with a bunch of people who are autistic and talk to them. But all these people have jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you doing to the people that don't have jobs? How are you being with those people? And are you sending people to the interviews with them?
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing that? Because I know when I go and interview my parents, my mom has to go with me.
Mm-hmm.
So just because I've gotten to the point in my life now that I am so advanced in my career that I need people to understand this, because me explaining it isn't very good. But what are you doing to help those people that don't have jobs?
Right. So a lot of what we're doing, and that's a really good question, because that's the core of the issue for what we're trying to do. And what we're doing is we're challenging. It's we can't give you a job and you want a job, and so we have to look to the businesses that want to hire you to try to be accountable to that. So what we're working on is trying to hold those businesses accountable to partner with us and challenge them and show them the benefits of hiring individuals that might have disabilities, and not doing it in a way just to say that they hired someone so that they're good. We want them to continue to hire people and allow you to perform at a high level, exactly like you would do in any other work environment, or like you would have done at school or at home or at church or wherever. So we're pushing businesses to try to partner with the disability community to make sure that we're successful in getting as many people with disabilities employed that want to work, because we've found that a number of people in our community that have disabilities want to work. And I don't think a lot of folks in here know, but my daughter's disabled. She's got cerebral palsy and she's nonverbal. She can't speak. She can only use her left arm. She had several massive strokes before she was born, and so this is very personal to me to try to make sure that I help our community become employed and be productive and change the mindset of what businesses want to do in their job, because you touched on it. In the community that we live in, if we know that companies are hiring individuals with disabilities, we're going to go support that company 100% of the time. But we don't want them just to do that just to say that they're giving a job. We want them to know how successful that our community can be working in a day-to-day setting, the same as anyone else, but they have to give us the opportunity. So that's what we're really striving to do, is challenge businesses, both publicly and privately, to come alongside with us and partner with getting as many people employed in the state of Tennessee as possible. And that's what we're moving the state towards. And that's a huge part of what I'm trying to do as commissioner.
So, I'm going to try to streamline that. Do you mean they don't just want to show off?
Yeah, so like what you don't want them to do, Cody, is exactly that, where they say that they hire a group of individuals with disabilities, and then they tell everybody how much they're hiring folks with disabilities. We don't want them just to hire people just to say that they're hiring people. We want them to hire people that are productive and can work, and that's what everybody here wants to do, is the same opportunity as everyone else. So you're right. We don't want to work with companies that just hire individuals just to show off. We want them to be accountable, be productive, and understand how much value our community can bring to their business. That's the challenge. What were you going to say, Lauren? Sorry.
How are you getting them into the interview? So, because a lot of times I'll go to an interview, and I'll be the perfect candidate for that job, but then all they hear is something else. Their mind kind of stops there. So how are you integrating with the people? Because when you get into that room, that's the hard part. Where to explain to them.
Right.
And I'm not a good explainer. I'm the last person of events. That's why I'm a writer, because I can't talk very
Sure.
well.
Well, what we try to do, or at least one of the goals I have, is to get them, is you have to talk their language and understand. So when you look at Woodard Brothers and what they're doing here, you can reference other businesses that are being successful with the model that we're asking that company to implement. So when you go in for an interview, they already know that tons of other businesses around them are doing that, and they want to be part of that. So if they know that they're in a city block, and 4 of the other companies around them are hiring individuals with disabilities, and they're the only one that doesn't, that puts a lot of business pressure on them to come alongside us and come along the other businesses in the community and partner together to hire folks with disabilities and give them the same opportunity. That's all we want, is opportunity, because we'll prove ourselves on our own merit. It's not an us versus them. We just want the same opportunity as everyone else. So what we do is we try to put them in a position where they understand it from a business perspective, why it's going to help their business, but ultimately it's the right thing to do. So we try to hold them accountable to that, to get them to understand that this is the right thing that we need to do as a society because of where we're advancing and where we've come from.
Is there a list of those companies
We
have?
I don't have it, but we do have a list of businesses that do hire individuals with disabilities and that we have partnered with in the past. Yeah, like I don't want to, we're off camera, but Kara and Christine would know that probably better than me. But we do have companies that are actively working to recruit individuals in our community to come work for them. So I'd be happy to try to find you some information and try to help you out.
Be awesome. Be awesome. Anybody have any other thoughts? We've talked about hurdles. It's transportation. We've talked about.
I have an interesting question for you specifically.
Mm-hmm. You're on the spot today, Commissioner. Just
that's why I'm here.
What challenges do you face when talking to companies, talking to employers about hiring people with disabilities? And why is there such a stigma on that side? Why is there such a reluctance?
No, it's a good question, because it's a good question, and it's an easy question to answer because they're scared. A lot of companies are scared because of everything that we've talked about in here of, well, how, if they can't drive, how are they going to get to work? If they can't get to work, they're going to be late. If they're late, they're not going to be productive, and I can hire someone else that might have typical skills to be productive. And we've got to break down those walls, because studies have shown, and we have data to prove that we share with businesses, that when you hire individuals with disabilities, morale around the company goes up, attendance goes up, because folks in our community are going to make sure that they find a way to get to work. Like I can tell you, I admire what you were just talking about having to go an hour and 45 minutes to get to work, but you were going to make sure that you got to work. So we share those statistics with businesses to let them know that you're not taking that big a risk, because for some reason there's a stigma around that if I hire someone with a disability, our productivity is going to go down, our bottom line is going to be smaller, and that's just not true, because what we want is an equal opportunity, equal access for everyone, and then let them tell you what they want to do and where they can be successful and goals that they can achieve at work, and not have the businesses just lump you in like you were just talking about and make a blanket statement.
Like cattle.
That's right. Everybody with autism goes in this corner. Everyone with Down syndrome goes in this corner. Everyone with Asperger's goes here. All of that is stuff that we still have to break down. But a lot of it is just the unknown, because it took a long time for companies to want to break segregation with color, and it's going to take a long time for companies to keep pushing to break segregation around full inclusion.
About retardation.
That's right. Right. Yeah. That's exactly right.
Yeah,
so we work towards helping partner with our community to break that down, because we're able to have those conversations with them to say you need to give our community the same chance that you give everyone else, that you give veterans, that you give women and men. folks with college degrees, folks without college degrees, all sorts of opportunities that all we're asking is for a chance. That's what we're trying to make sure that they understand that. So the hard part is busting through that fear wall that they've got, that if I hire someone, it's not going to work out for me and they're not going to be able to do the same job, and that's just not true.
But what is the psychology, not only after that, but why do they think like that? They must have heard it from, is this something that's been going on for years and years due to like fear of the unknown?
Yeah.
Because
Instead, it's like kind of like when blacks are trying to get jobs too. Is it the same thing? I mean, I don't
In
know.
a lot of ways it is. It's
That's
a
what I heard you
preconceived
say.
notion.
well, I read
It's
a
the
lot of
same
history,
thing.
but that's besides the point. I just know people are just very fearful of what they don't understand.
Right, but that's a lot of it around that. Is it's for me, it's the last big civil rights battle we're still trying to fight for employment and for accessibility and opportunity around breaking down these walls with businesses. And so that's what we're trying to do in our department, is make sure that we partner with the business community so they understand the value that we bring to the table and not just look at it as, well, I have to do this. We want you to want to do this and recognize why it's so successful. So I can't answer it for each individual about why it's that way, but when we change one mind, then we start changing two minds, and we start changing three minds. So our goal is to get some momentum around that to try to make sure that all the businesses start recognizing what the value is.
Yeah.
One of the things cool that we're trying to do here on the Avenue is give a voice, right? That's
Sure.
what this whole thing is about. And the most impressive part to me about these individuals that are sitting in this circle is they want a voice to tell their story, to make it better, not only for themselves, but for all the other people affected with disability. And it amazes me every day, their desire to go tell that story. And I think we've tried to almost tell it for them for too long.
Yeah.
And I think giving them a voice to actually go out and tell it themselves is amazing. Lawrence said it really well earlier. She's a great writer and has done a great job of writing tips and giving people education and blogging and all that type of stuff.
Yeah,
And
see,
so-
that's neat, Lauren. We talk all the time in our offices, and we tell this to everyone that we talk to. And you're asking, how do we break that down? We can carry the message of the disability community, but only you can tell your individual story. I can't tell your story for you, Lauren. I can't tell your story. Your voice is powerful. Use your voice to impact and affect change. That's where it starts, because your story is your own story and you've got personal experience from it. We can help try to supplement that as our department to make sure that we're increasing the awareness and the opportunities for you, but you have to keep being bold and using your voice. Everybody in here has a voice. It's just a matter of how you decide to use it. But when it's a unified voice, it becomes louder and louder, and that makes a bigger impact. But that's exactly what this podcast and this business does, is there's a unified voice coming out of this office and out of this warehouse around changing the way that we look at, as a business community, folks that are hired with disabilities. And the success rate that you're having here is a good model that we can use as a success story in other companies.
Anybody else have questions for the commissioner on opposing, Brad?
You tell them this place will expand.
It'd be good, wouldn't it, John?
Yeah.
We want to expand
That's
and
true.
grow, because I think people that are doing it correct, we have to feed and let it grow. I think
I know
you're exactly right.
I don't like says, but I know there's no blacks in here.
Well, that's not an intentional thing at all. We've reached out to pretty much have hired everybody that walks through the front door, John, and it's sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad, but that's not intentional at all.
Yeah.
It's the spice of life, as people say.
I'd say this is a pretty diverse group when you look around it.
Yeah.
It is, sure.
So, so we have.
Another question. Does anybody else have any other questions before I ask this?
No, go.
Why the chicken across the road?
Thank you, Cody. Thank you for lighting it up over there. buddy.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
What inspired you to be the commissioner, or what?
He already gave that answer.
Well, let him
Well,
finish the...
well, I'm trying to go deeper than that. Like, what made you want to be in a position to help?
He said his daughter had disabilities.
Yep, it
So
was
you
my
already kinda
daughter.
answered it.
So when my daughter, we didn't know that anything. We didn't know that she was going to have cerebral palsy. So when she was born, we didn't know anything was wrong until after she was born, and so that really motivated me to pay attention. And unfortunately, in the way society is now, sometimes it takes those type of crisis moments for you to pay attention to things that are going on around you that you were never privy to. So when my daughter was born, that really started these wheels in motion for me. And then when the governor was elected and came on board, he already knew my story because we had had a relationship before, and I had supported him, so he was already familiar with me being involved in the disability community for over 12 years with my daughter. No, I'm talking about Governor Lee, so the new governor. Yeah, the new governor.
He was the CEO of Lee Company.
He was.
Yeah.
That's right. And so that's what really motivated me. So every day when I come to work, I'm helping her at home before we go out. And it's just a good reminder for me about why we're trying to do what we do, because everybody in here is the son or daughter of someone, and we're working for those parents too, or those grandparents, the people that help raise you, to put you in a position to be successful. So that's what motivates me.
Cool. That's awesome. That's a great question, Matt. Commissioner, I'm going to turn the tables on. Do you have any questions for the guys or girls?
Yeah, I can sit here all day and ask different questions.
We're about to wrap it up, but I would love for it to be with a few questions.
Yeah, absolutely. The big thing I want to get from the takeaway, if there was one thing you could do for a day in my role, what would you try to do to help folks in our community? Just one thing. If you had one thing that you would want to try to change, what would it be? Because we want to know, because I'm there to represent you. We're all in this together. So what's one thing you would try to change if you were in my
I think you should
seat?
be pounding the pavement with us.
Okay.
I think you should be out there with us.
Yeah.
So the
I
department.
mean, it's great what you do and all, but until you're really with us and sitting with people and listening to what they say and seeing the doors shut on us, then you don't really know until you're there.
Right.
You kind of have to put yourself in our shoes for.
Right.
You have to walk a mile.
Right.
What Lauren is saying is very true. You have to walk a mile.
Right.
In our own shoes to understand what we go through.
Anybody
Well,
else?
I mean, I mean, if you wrote a letter to the same company saying the same things that I'm saying, then to see the doors even get shut in your face, and I'm not saying, it in a bad way.
No, I understand.
Just to understand how it looks and how it
Sure.
feels in your own shoes, whatever. Then and I don't know, because our parents have to sit with us a lot of times, and they're the ones that have to clean it up.
Right.
Sure,
We don't get these jobs.
That's one of the things that's important, Commissioner, that we've learned here is we serve the families, not just the individual.
That's right.
It's a full on thing, and that's true of all of us.
Right.
I think whether it's the immediate families or whatever, but it's that's a huge need, I think, as well. Anybody else? Your commissioner for a day. Commissioner Gordon, you said earlier, I liked that. That was
That was good.
Make it a
They like to be a
Batman.
commissioner here.
I like
that.
that.
We had to put the light on earlier
Gotham,
today.
that's
Yeah, it
right.
was good.
Bat phone.
No, anybody else
Batman
have
does not eat nachos.
Thank you, Cody, for
How do you
keeping
know,
us live. Anybody have a suggestion, Commissioner, for a day? Brad? No?
Well, can you rephrase it one more time?
Well,
Yeah.
if you were commissioner for a day and you could change one thing to help folks with disabilities in the state of Tennessee,
No
what would
matter
it be?
who's the governor,
No matter who's the governor, you're commissioner.
You're commissioner.
What would you do, John, to change
Um,
and make it better for folks with disabilities?
I don't know, just I know we got a bigger place, but
You want to move to the new place?
No.
Dieter, what do you think, buddy?
I've been working for myself for 20 years, and I plug myself into other companies, and so I'm out and about a lot.
Right.
But I think simple education in terms of they're available. I mean, just pamphlets. I've never, in 20 years, I've never got a postcard that said, "Hey, we have a disabled community that's available to work." And then working with Woodard Brother and becoming part of this family, I think it's the real world lumps everything in just one box, and it's just disabled is disabled, and they think of the worst Godzilla movie ever, and so of course they don't. It's like, we don't want to deal with that, And like I've grown to tell Tom, I was like, we're all on the spectrum, I'm on the spectrum, I realize, just because Brad's a little bit different in the way he approaches life, I'm a little bit the way I approach stuff, and I easily found out that these are just people.
Yeah.
That wake up every morning, put their pants on also, we all have our issues. And
Drink their daily cup of Joe.
That's it.
So I think it's letting people know that it's not a box.
Yeah.
It's a group of people, and some you might have to work a little harder to get some work out of them. Others you won't have to do squat. It's like, here you go, thanks. See you at the end of the day, and they'll have their job done better than the average employee on their Facebook all day long. So I think it's just letting businesses know, besides big corporations, because I think the big corporations are the ones that have the extra budgets where they can just hire anybody. But I'm sure there's a lot of little companies that could use extra employees, you know, for a day or for 3 days a week, and just let them know, hey, you know, try it, and then see if you like it. That might be a good approach.
I think what you're saying in an interesting way is educating the market that's not in the world of disability right now to how they can support, and how vice versa they can be supported by that world. I think that's a really wise thing. That's what we've awakened to over the last 5 years for sure.
And then what I've definitely seen, and somebody mentioned it earlier, but it's a blessing. You know, I think, you know, businesses get happier. Everybody shows up. It's just a more loving environment. You know, it's a change of the heart. Too.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're a countless world. We're all about money. We're all about getting it. You know, and it's like, it's about life. It's about people. You know, slow down and let the business be more about that.
Family and love in this world.
Absolutely.
That's
right. Do you have disability on your team?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Nate,
we do.
Work for you?
They do, and they work at a very high level, which has been great. And that's part of what you were asking about. That's how we share our story too. Is we try to practice what we preach.
Awesome.
Amen.
For sure.
You need a writer.
That's our communications team. They're always writing for me. You might have to help.
I love it. I love it.
I'll write for you.
Nate, you have something to input?
I went to a communications school,
Mm-hmm.
and I worked with kids who got sent there because their parents donated money, kids who just wanted to be on ESPN, and a lot of really talented artists. And I'm working with these two as a production team now, and I've never been this productive.
Yeah.
And a big part of it is that, like, I grew up, I got diagnosed with ADHD, anxiety combination in college, real late. And, like, Matt sometimes, even Brad, there are these moments that I always had with my own creative self where I didn't feel confident.
Yeah.
And us as a team coming together, like, they've bolstered my confidence in myself, and I hope that I've been able to bolster their confidence in themselves. And it's amazing, even though we're in different boats with the things that affect us day in, day out, I've learned a lot, not even just directly from them, just from watching the way that they approach things. And
right.
I think that the thing, if I was commissioner for a day, I would not say, like, here's your new employee. I would say, let's slot them into a team. Because it's been amazing what we've been able to accomplish.
Right.
I would agree.
Right.
And a collaborative effort. I think what we've done, you know, traditionally, is we said, we'll put 50 people with disability over here and let them work together.
Yeah.
We saw how that
well,
worked.
that's
The laws
yeah.
changed.
It becomes very. That's what I was just going to say.
The laws have changed, and that's how we ended up being here. We'll tell you that in here in a little while, but won't go into our story. But that's really important to hear from what Nate's saying. The collaborative effort between neurotypical, able-bodied, and intellectually and developmentally disabled people together makes a really strong team. We know that it works here. Whether it's Lauren and I writing, whether it's them editing, whether it's Cody and Brendan doing artwork, packing boxes, doing logistics, learning deliveries, whatever it is we're doing around here, we know it's a better product, better service based on a collaborative effort.
Right.
And we're in a co-write town. I mean, we're in a musical town. You know, that's what everybody does. So that's one of the things we do. Any other thoughts for the commissioner on that? Anybody else in the peanut gallery back there?
Besides me.
You got one more? You could go for an hour on this.
I could go for hours and hours.
Here's what we're going to do, Matt. We're going to invite the commissioner to come back and be on the Matt Show. We're going to send you down to DIDD to be on the Matt Show, and we'll take it on the road. Because we believe this man's doing some good things in our state, and that's what you're all about.
I want to come too.
You'll have a job by then.
We're going to bring our crew down to see you.
We will be there. You guys are welcome in our building at any time.
We just got a mobile Matt Show offer to come down to the Capitol. So we're going to go down there.
Matt just said you offered me a job.
And Matt's right. And Matt's Lauren's new agent.
Okay, you can be my writer, script writer.
I love that. So we're already making collaborative efforts here.
That's right.
Anybody else want to wrap anything up? Commissioner, we just thank you so much. I know you're busy. You've been all over the state, and we really appreciate you stopping by.
It's my pleasure, and thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to coming back already.
Absolutely.
I'll pay you in
a lot of fun. Everybody want to sign off? Anybody got any last words?
Can't do it.
Time to sign off? John, you want to say sign off?
Sign off.
Sign off.
There you go.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Good job.
Thank y'all. Good stuff.
I didn't.
Thank you, crew.
Hold the bag.
Oh yeah, we better get a picture.
Absolutely. No question about it.